Hello and welcome back to our final episode of the Road to Legal Week. So today we have a very special guest. Please, guest, tell us who you are and what is your new role?
Yes, thank you. So I'm Alicia Hawley. I am newly of Counsel at K&L Gates in the EDAT practice group. I'm part of the leadership team here in our EDAT group, which is sort of a full service eDiscovery practice group that does everything on the EDRM spectrum and counsels on legal strategy and managed review and sort of everything in between.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the new role. Tell us, you are speaking at LegalWeek. Tell us a little bit about your session and why should people be excited specifically for your session?
Yeah, so the title of it is the GAI Paradox, torn between fear and desire, which is, probably more intriguing than it actually is. But it is, the panels that I try to be on, I always try to have a really practical perspective and how does this impact people's day to day and how can they use some of the things that we're talking about in their practice. And so I think that's what's going to be really great about this. There's so much programming on AI and generative AI in particular, but we're really going to dig into the sort of balancing like how awesome it is and the wanting to just dive in and do everything with it because it's so cool and it's really efficient and it's everybody's talking about it, so like let's do it, and then balancing that with, oh my God, what if things go wrong, right? And so I think people have are trying to sort of reconcile those things of really wanting to just go all in, but also realizing that there are data privacy concerns. There are certainly big ethical concerns. There are concerns about, how much do you have to know about it before you start using it? And so we're going to have these conversations and talk about really, how you can use it in a way that is going to be, you're going to be cautious and responsible, but still maximizing the value and getting to do all the cool things that are out there.
Cool. So buying into the buzzwords and to the hype, but doing it in a sensible manner.
Right.
So
exactly.
That makes sense. Awesome. Do you have any tips, tricks, anything for someone who's never been to Legal Week before?
Yes. So this is kind of a general conference tip that I have, and I have been doing these things for a long time, but I've also heard people who are sort of experts in networking talk about some of these tips too. So I'm an extreme extrovert, but conferences like this that are so massive can still be really intimidating. When you walk into the room and there's just like thousands of people and it's like,
and
oh
it's
crap, where do I even start?
Yeah.
Like you don't even know like what to do or where to start or whatever. So a few tips that I have on it, because I think this is, Legal Week is such an exceptional networking experience because there's so many people there and we're all in the same industry and there's just a lot of opportunity. And so some of the things that I think about and do is, first of all, I always really plan my schedule as far as if there are people who are speaking that I want to see, if there are topics that I want to see, I really sort of map that out. And then I think of questions or topics of conversation that I want to engage in with the people that are speaking or with other people I think might be attending, so that I sort of I don't get in the room and I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, I want to be engaged, but I don't know. I sort of think of things in advance. And then, when they ask for questions in those sessions, I always think it's great exposure to raise your hand and ask a question. And when I do that, I always introduce myself first. So when I raise my hand and I get called on, I always say, Alicia Hawley, I'm at K&L Gates, because then people like hear your name, they know who you are, and there's a better chance that they maybe will come up to you afterwards instead of you having to do the initiation. So those are some of my like networking tips is, so it's not so overwhelming, is sort of, plan it out a little bit and have some questions like in the back of your mind to engage in conversation so it's not weird.
Yeah. And it's always great because as a speaker, when you're up there and you say, okay, any questions, and then look around the room and nothing. So if you go in already knowing that, hey, I'm gonna introduce myself and get out there, it helps the speakers too. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So, well, awesome. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to seeing you next week at Legal Week.